I'm appealing to you to exercise further patience as we take appropriate measures to ease these hardships.
President Buhari acknowledges present economic situation in the country, appeals to Nigerians to endure, for there is no gain without pain. In the political arena, different strokes for different folks, with campaign finishing line in sight. President Buhari extols Nigeria's relations with Comoros, promises sustenance by successor. Hello and welcome to the network news on NTA with me, Najat Tijani, while Michael is in Lagos. Remember, you can follow this news live on our website, nta.ng/live, and all our other social media handles displayed on the screen for updates. President Muhammadu Buhari has passionately appealed to Nigerians to bear the current economic policies aimed at repositioning the country as government is working hard to bring about lasting succor. The president was speaking during a broadcast from Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, where he emphasized, quote, policies are aimed at yielding long-term impact, which will put the nation's economy on the right track, end of quote.
You are facing as a result of some policies of the government which are meant to bring overall improvement to the country. I am appealing to you to exercise further patience as we take appropriate measures to ease these hardships. God willing, there will be light at the end of the tunnel.
President Muhammadu Buhari has also promised to brief his incoming successor on the need to sustain and expand existing relations between Nigeria and the Union of Comoros Islands, describing it as very important. This was while granting audience to President Azali Assoumani of Comoros shortly before his departure from Addis Ababa, where he attended the 36th session of the African Union. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports that the president is now back in Abuja.
President Assoumani of Comoros, just elected as the new chairperson of the African Union, said he chose to make his first visit to President Muhammadu Buhari in view of the enormous respect he had for the Nigerian leader. He commended the president for leaving behind a worthy legacy of organizing an election in preparation for a timely departure in line with Nigeria's constitution. As he puts it, you came in through a good door and you are leaving through a good one. This is what we will be doing in my country as we approach our own elections. What the Nigerian leader achieved, he said, is a good lesson for Africa to borrow, including the fight against insecurity and corruption.
The President of Comoros expressed appreciation for the example that Mr. President has given as a true Democrat, for the leadership Mr. President has shown in the fight against corruption, and also to tell him that he would wish to be there when Mr. President is handing over, representing the African Union, and as a token of appreciation of Africa for the example that Mr. President has given.
President Muhammadu Buhari thanked the island nation for not only being a good neighbor, but also maintaining consistency in friendship with Nigeria. As developing countries, the president said correct steps must be followed towards achieving development. He promised to brief his successor and, God willing, from the governing party on keeping what he called the important and highly beneficial relationship. President Buhari formally congratulated President Assoumani on his emergence as the new chairperson of the African Union. Meanwhile, President Muhammadu Buhari is back in Abuja after his last outing at the African Union headquarters as head of state. He was received on arrival at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, by his Chief of Staff, Professor Ibrahim Gambari, FCT Minister Muhammad Musa Bello, Inspector General of Police Usman Alkali Baba, Director General, Department of State Services Yusuf Magaji Bichi, and other senior government officials. Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
Welcome back, Mr. President. Meanwhile, heads of state and government of the Sahel Region Climate Commission have granted approval for Nigeria to host the Secretariat of the Sahel Climate Fund. This is contained in a communique issued at the end of the second conference of heads of state and government of the Commission held on the margins of the 36th AU Summit in Addis Ababa. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo again reports.
The approval for Nigeria to host the Sahel Climate Fund Secretariat followed the declaration of her wish to be part of the Commission's successful operationalization made by President Muhammadu Buhari at the opening of the conference.
Nigeria pledges to host the Secretariat of the Sahel Climate Fund, equip and provide accommodation to the top management staff of the fund.
The Sahel Climate Fund is the financial body of the Sahel Region Climate Commission. Amongst other decisions by leaders of member countries include the adoption of the methods of contributions from the states towards financing the operations of the Sahel Climate Fund Secretariat. Some eminent personalities have also been named as ambassadors for advocacy and the mobilization of resources to finance climate-related programs and actions in the region. They include former President of Niger, Muhammadu Isufu, UN Deputy Secretary General Amina Muhammad, and a business mogul, Aliko Dangote. Meanwhile, President Muhammadu Buhari granted audience to the Chairman Board of Directors of Ethiopian Airlines, Girma Wake, during which they exchanged views on the operationalization of Nigeria's national carrier, Nigeria Air. The board chairman made a case for immediate resolution of the legal obstacle halting the formal takeoff of Nigeria Air, in which Ethiopian Airlines has 49% stake. He also requested the repatriation of the airline funds trapped in the country over foreign exchange challenges. For President Muhammadu Buhari, the decision to relaunch a national air carrier for Nigeria is weighty, but expressed the confidence that things will be all right. The Ethiopian Airlines chief described Nigeria as not just a market, but a hub for aviation in Africa, saying nobody travels more around the globe than Nigerians. He said Ethiopian Airlines and its partners are ready to commence operations on Nigeria Air as soon as all the court matters are resolved. From Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
And still on achievements of the country, Nigeria remains the greatest black country on earth, and which other countries would be proud to see overcome challenges, says the Executive Secretary, Nigerian Christian Pilgrims Commission, Reverend Yakubu Pam, while commending President Muhammadu Buhari for the spirit of nation building. Omenka Amarachuku reports.
No doubt Nigeria is passing through a difficult phase under the redesigned Naira notes regime and other policies with unintended consequences. This, the Executive Secretary of the Nigerian Christian Pilgrims Commission says Nigerians should bear as there is no gain without pain. Reverend Yakubu Pam appreciates the deliberate steps taken by the Buhari-led government to curb impact of corruption and reposition the economy for a sustainable transformation.
This is the moment that we need to rally around Mr. President, encouraging him. Everybody has witnessed in a few weeks now how he stood his ground on these new Naira notes to make sure that we have corruption being curtailed from most of our elites and the rest. And we should encourage him. And at this moment, all of us should put our hands on deck instead of playing blames to one another.
The Christian cleric appealed for understanding and cooperation of all and sundry in the realization of a sound economy and productive citizens in the face of global economic depression. In Abuja, Omenka Marachku, NTA News.
And speaking of a sound economy, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo says critical findings, recommendations and implementation strategies will serve as a roadmap to fast-track the process of industrialization in Nigeria. This was while inaugurating Senior Executive Course 45 of the National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies, Kuru. Alisabatu Andrew reports.
In the 92 participants of Senior Executive Course 45, the Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, represented by the Deputy Governor of Plateau State, says the institute has proved itself over the years to be the finest leadership training institute in the country and reliable ally in terms of handling assignments and attending to critical issues.
It is our desire that your findings, recommendations and implementation strategies will serve as a roadmap and a working tool for the incoming government to fast-track the process of industrialization in Nigeria.
Director General NIPS Professor Ayo Motayo says, as a policy formation institute, it is committed to producing a crop of top-class technocrats of high intellectual capacity that will impact on the nation.
The course is designed to develop the capacity of participants to critically conceptualize and analyze very complex national issues with a view to understanding and responding to them in very articulate and appropriate manner.
At the end of this course, we will be able to advise the Nigerian government on issues, challenges and opportunities around industrialization, energy security and climate change.
When I go out there, it will be something I will be able to apply to my community and to Nigeria as a whole.
The Senior Executive Course 45 has the theme Industrialization, Climate Change, Energy and Security in Nigeria, Challenges, Prospects and Opportunity. In Jos, Alisabatu Andrew, NTA News.
All is set for the unveiling of other components of the PMB scorecard series in Abuja, says the Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, who made this known during the presentation of his ministry scorecard 2015 to 2023. Anthony Forson reports.
Not only do we have achievements to campaign with, we're actually spoiled for choice.
The PMB Scorecard Series has hosted 26 ministers and the chairman, National Population Commission. The Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, said the series wouldn't have come at a better time than now.
As the administration winds down, we decided to consolidate all the publicity programs that we have held all through the administration's tenure, and this gave birth to the PMB Administration Scorecard Series 2015, which we launched on October 18, 2022 here. The Scorecard Series designed to massively showcase the achievements of the Buhari administration and document such for posterity has 5 components. A, the scorecard presentation designed for honorable ministers and other top government officials to tell Nigerians what they have done in their various sectors.
The ministerial presentation Lai Mohammed maintained is one component of the scorecard series, saying 4 more components will be unveiled on Wednesday.
B, the testimony series that provides the platform for ordinary Nigerians to say how they have been impacted by the various policies and programs of the administration. C, the compendium that chronicles in a book form the various achievements of the administration. D, the documentary that provides video evidence of the administration's major achievements. And E, the PMB Legacy Portal, which is the electronic repository of all that we have done to showcase the administration's achievements.
With a clear vision to massively showcase the President Muhammadu Buhari-led administration's achievements. Lai Mohammed said posterity would be fair to the president. In Abuja, Anthony Forson, NTA News.
Stay tuned for updates from the oil and gas sector after some messages.
Minister of Information and Culture, Alhaji Lai Mohammed, cordially invites the public to the unveiling of a series of programs showcasing the achievements of the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari. They are the launch of a compendium of the PMB administration scorecard series, unveiling of the testimonies of the beneficiaries of federal government's programs and policies, screening of a teaser of the documentary series on the achievements of the administration, and the launch of the PMB Legacy Portal. Date: Wednesday, 22nd February 2023. Venue: Banquet Hall, State House, Abuja. Time: noon. Mrs. Lydia Shehu Jafia, MNI, Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Information and Culture. Announcer.
Great people of our land, now as we stand at the dawn of light, did you know that out of the resourcefulness of our spirits, the APC government is leveraging sukuk bonds and tax credit schemes to deliver over 40 critical roads and bridges across the nooks and crannies of our cities, including the iconic Second Niger Bridge. Oh, it must be told that we are building more seaports and airports. We are opening up more towns and communities across the geopolitical zones to more economic prosperity. Now, as we stand at this dawn of light, let us move forward with renewed hope. Let's elect Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Senator Kashim Shettima as President and Vice President to birth the greater Nigeria of our collective dreams.
This message is brought to you by the National Working Committee of the APC.
APC Progress! It don't come. Population and housing census. It don't come. Oh yeah, everybody get ready, well.
On the 29th of March to the 2nd of April 2023,
the National Population Commission will be conducting a comprehensive population and housing census to generate reliable, sustainable, and up-to-date data needed for policy formulation, security, national planning, and development.
Population and housing census, it will make life better, because our government is going to use
National Population and Housing Census 2023. It's your civic responsibility. Please support it. The 2023 Population and Housing Census is being conducted by the National Population Commission, NPC. Personal data assistants, PDAs, will be deployed countrywide for the census exercise. Everything will be done digitally. Nigeria's 2023 Population and Housing Census.
On the 29th of March to the 2nd of April 2023.
You count. Be counted.
The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has reallocated voters from overcrowded polling units to less populated polling units. Make sure you verify your polling unit before election day. To verify, visit voters.inecnigeria.org. You can check using two options. Option 1. Use your name and date of birth. Option 2. Use your voter identification number, also known as VIN. You can find your VIN on your permanent voter's card. You will not be able to vote if you do not go to your correct polling unit. Making your vote count, consolidating our democracy. This message is brought to you with support from the European Union Support to Democratic Governance in Nigeria, EUSDGN program.
I was the head boy in my primary school, senior prefect and best graduating student in my secondary school, but drug abuse almost ruined my life.
I was on an average of 2 grams of cocaine per day.
I was taking 8 ampoules of pentazosine daily.
European shisha, cocaine.
I became a user, a dealer, and a gangster. I saw other users drowning. I knew I didn't want to be like them, but I was already trapped. My family disowned me.
My employment was terminated.
I sold my car, sold my house. I'll go out well-dressed and and return shoeless, shirtless in exchange for drugs.
I was saying things that were not real, and I once stabbed myself because I felt something crawling under my skin.
I contacted NDLEA and started therapy.
I spent 3 months in therapy.
I spent 8 months.
It's easy to relapse, but your mind has to be stronger than the cravings.
Drugs does not love you. You are not the one using drugs. Drugs are the one using you. Say no to drug abuse.
Vote who get recovery plan for Nigeria. Vote Atiku and Okowa 2023.
PDP! Power to the people!
Thanks for staying tuned. We're talking petroleum products now, and the Nigeria Liquefied Natural Gas Limited has signed a memorandum of understanding under its second hospital support program with 3 university teaching hospitals towards building better healthcare delivery service in Nigeria. Lydia Sampson reports.
The MOU signed are for twin theatre suites in the University of Jos Teaching Hospital, equipping renal transplant unit of the University of Port Harcourt Teaching Hospital, and renovating and equipping accident and emergency ward of the University of Uyo Teaching Hospital. The projects are to be completed in 2023. For key stakeholders here, the Nigerian liquefied natural gas interventions in all sectors across the country is not only game-changing, but also life-saving. The occasion provided the platform for Deputy Managing Director NLNG Olalekan Ogunleye to roll out laudable programs by the NLNG across Nigeria.
It's geared at priority areas of the respective health institutions. I'm glad to announce to you that the Modern Maternity Child Complex in Gwagalada, which started operation on 1st of January, recorded its first baby on the 1st of January 2023.
Key players say the intervention in the health sector, which began with the COVID-19 pandemic, has continued to mitigate infrastructure deficit in the country.
We have no doubt that it will also further strengthen the delivery of healthcare in these hospitals. The Federal Ministry of Health will continue to muster support and wherewithal to improve the healthcare sector in Nigeria. Waiting time, for surgery is too long, and it's going to really shorten the waiting time and give Nigerians, succor by providing surgical services.
With similar projects across the country, the NLNG is already working towards more impactful projects in 2024. In Abuja, Lydia Sampson, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the Minister of State Petroleum Resources, Timipre Silva, has attributed loss of revenue from crude oil production to theft, pipeline vandalism and decayed infrastructure. In a statement, the minister notes that despite the challenges, the federal government is determined to end the trend through improved investment and security along the major oil and gas pipelines in the Niger Delta region. Contrary to reports that about 40% of the volume of crude oil loss is due to measurement inaccuracies, the statement explains that the major sources of crude oil loss are theft and production deferment as a result of pipeline vandalism, lack of investment in fossil fuel in the country, and the drive towards renewable energy. Silva therefore urges the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission and the Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority to harmoniously work together to ensure that the constraints and impeding challenges in the optimal crude oil production volume are speedily addressed to boost national revenue. And now we'll join Michael in Lagos for more updates. Over to you, Michael.
To the general elections, eligible voters in Lagos say they are fully prepared to cast their ballots in Saturday's presidential and National Assembly polls. Joe Popola reports that Lagos residents are optimistic the process will be itch-free now that adequate security is guaranteed.
years of preparation, mobilization, and advocacy by INEC and other stakeholders for Nigerians to participate in the electoral process, the election week is here, and residents of Lagos are eager to exercise their franchise on Saturday. As expected, attention of the world will shift to Nigeria, being the most populous black nation. With the D-Day just few days away, eligible voters in Lagos say they now recognize more than ever the power that comes with the PVC.
I have my PVC and I prepare myself to vote for my own choice that very day. So I pray that everything will work for good for that day. My center is at just somewhere here at Comoros. That's my center. Everybody should just behave well. Are you getting there? If you have your candidates, go there, vote for your right candidate. After that, go back to your home and wait for your results.
In terms of the number of PVCs collected, Lagos ranks among the top, and come Saturday, the expectation from the people is whether this will equally translate into votes capable of deciding the direction of the polls.
We should maintain law and order. That is the most important thing. We need to be security conscious. We need to maintain law and order. What they say we should not do, we should not do.
I'm very happy because it's almost 5 days now to election. I'm very happy. Anybody that wins, let them announce the person.
Lagosians charge security agencies and other stakeholders to live up to expectations in the interest of each free election that will be devoid of rancor. In Lagos, Joel Bukwola, NTA News.
The Minister of Transportation, Muazu Ijaji Sambo, has further empowered the Nigerian Shippers Council as the port economic regulator to set up a functional and viable port community system before the expiration of tenure of the present administration. He gave the directive at the Shippers Council in Lagos, where he gave an update on federal government's position to implement some policies for effective utilization of the ports. Arising from securing the Federal Executive Council's approval for the installation of electronic cargo tracking nodes at the nation's ports, the minister is making his first call to the Nigerian Shippers Council to discuss modalities for effective utilization of the device expected to be operated by the council. Beyond the gains inherent in the cargo tracking system, which include risk management and fraud control, the minister questioned the non-existence of a ports community system, PCS, and therefore gave the task to the Shippers Council to constitute one, taking a cue from workable templates across the world.
So if we have one system that works very well in Benin here, we can go to Benin and pick it up and get presidential approval for direct procurement and replicate it by those who operate or install it there and are operating it.
On the renewal of concession agreements which the Nigerian Ports Authority has forwarded its recommendations to the ministry, he said impulse from the Shippers Council is vital before such submissions are made. The Executive Secretary of the Nigerian Shippers Council commended the minister for taking advantage of the low-hanging fruits as recommended by the council in achieving the inauguration of the Dala and Funtua dry ports within the shortest time, coupled with the approval for the procurement of the cargo tracking nodes.
You have proven by words and by your deeds that you are a man who recognizes that only when we work together as a team are we able to deliver the maritime space that actually works for the good of the Nigerian economy.
At the close of discussions, the minister promised to pursue the review of the MSC Act to make the agency more efficient, while also fast-tracking accessing the 1% freight stabilization levy to drive funding. Do not forget to follow this news broadcast live on our website at nta.ng/live and on our other social media handles displayed on your screen for updates. Time for some messages. The news will be back with Najatu shortly after this break. Please stay.
The skyline's a bright line, you watch how we define and listen when we speak, you better listen, cause it's your turn. Now it's your turn. Your turn.
front row seat to the world of entertainment. Nobody does video streaming better. Dial *777# now.
When malaria won't show power for your side, he gon' knock you down. I'm a damn soft gel. You can tell you no say. Malaria medicine when don't get bad taste. Oh, bitter taste for mouth. And it's easy to swallow. I got red game changer. I'm a damn soft gel.
Say no to malaria. Yes to life.
To keep your money, you don't need to worry. Them no go fit to scam you, and you don't need even account you. Any transaction you go fit to perform. You don't even need smartphone, no. And you don't need even create in a wallet. Check your balance, transfer money. Any service you need, you can bank on it. Yes, you can. Just take your phone and pray. In the village, in the city, anywhere where you do. Whether you be that or you dey sell a car, any job where you get it, just know say yes you can. You can bank on it. Oh yeah, alele sorry wa, monsin sorry sorry, no carry last oh. Bank on it, store 997.
E-Naira, same Naira, more possibilities.
Esther, you're late again. Esther.
Morning, Esther.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
New So Clean concentrated detergent. 2 times the work, 2 times the speed, 2 times the strength. To win, we know what it takes. New So Clean 30% concentrated detergent. Now with 2 times the cleaning power. So Clean. For a faster, brighter, cleaner wash. With 2 times the cleaning power. So Clean, the official regional partner of Paris Saint-Germain.
Solution for we country, man. Food go ya food for we nation. Naija go up, Waki go bubble. Article we don't go out. Our country go safe again. Vote who get recovery plan for Nigeria. Vote Atiku and Okowa 2023. PDP. Power to the people. I dey look for pension fund administrator. We soft, make sense, we care for me. Shy. No be the time when story go enter the matter when it's time to deliver. Oh no. The brand is sure them no go stress you. Call them then they accessible. Yes, customer care where they on point. No go regret when you try, of course. Profitable investment, everything is just a blend. If you want it good for you, my guy, make you choose premium pension today. Make that switch to premium pension. Make that switch to premium pension.
Join over 700,000 satisfied members and enjoy the premium experience at our offices across the 36 states in Nigeria, including the FCT. Call 094615-700-704 to make the switch today. Premium pension. Active today, premium tomorrow.
At last, the elections are here. Let's turn out en masse on election day and vote Asiwaju Bola Tinubu as President of Nigeria for a renewed hope and a better Nigeria. Vote APC, the party that shows a broom.
It's nice to know you're still watching the network news on NTA. The Federal High Court sitting in Lagos has granted an order restraining the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) from engaging, using, or further dealing with the chairman of the Lagos Parks and Garages, Musliu Akinsonya, otherwise known as MC Olumo, and his organization in the distribution of election materials and ad hoc staff in the forthcoming elections in the state. Justice Chukwucheku Aneke granted the injunction following an application filed by the Labour Party and its governorship candidate in Lagos State, Badebo Rhodes Fiver. As Nigeria counts down to the 2023 general elections, the Chief of Defence Staff, General Lucky Irabor, has reaffirmed the readiness of the armed forces and other security agencies to providing a safe and secure environment. General Irabor gave the assurance after a security meeting with service chiefs, heads of security agencies, and the National Security Advisor.
The police is the lead agency for elections security. We are set on all fronts. We equally got representation from the INEC chairman, who of course you have interacted with, who has also told Nigerians and the world that they are ready for this election. So by and large, we are good to go, and I'd like to use this opportunity to assure Nigerians that on the security front, we are good to go.
Speaking on identified black spots, the Chief of Defence Staff stressed that counterproductive measures have been put in place, proactive rather.
This is part of the assessment we've done, and the general assessment is that yes, we are good to go. And we've made contingencies to address those peculiar areas.
The meeting was held at the Defence Headquarters after critical assessment of the security front and taking proactive measures. The Nigeria Police Force is enhancing the capacity of heads of operations of the force and other security agencies towards ensuring that officers are adequately prepared to effectively police the 2023 general elections. Francis Form reports that officers responsible for strategic operational deployment and active field duty officers across the country attended the capacity building workshop.
Seated in this hall are heads of operations in the 36 states and the FCT, as well as zonal commands, with participants from the Operations Department of the military and other security agencies involved in election security management, including the civil society organizations. They are at the International Conference Center, attending the last in the series of capacity building for 2023 general elections.
Drawing on global best practices, it is also hoped that we could have identified the current pattern and trends of crimes and the internal security threats and devise pathways to mitigating them and stabilizing the security order ahead of the 2023 general elections.
But the belief of the IG is to ensure that we bring all collaborative efforts together with a view to ensure that the election is really free and credible.
Quick combination of the sharpening of the law and other maintenance skills, a reawakened commitment to their constitutional responsibilities impartially delivered, and conflict management skills will go a long way to helping the MPF to reduce the cases of electoral violence.
Similarly, about 2,000 officers and men of the force are currently receiving training in 21 states and the FCT in conducting credible polls. Francis Form, NTA News.
The International Republican Institute, IRI, and the National Democratic Institute, NDI, have announced the deployment of a joint international election observation mission to Nigeria. The 40-member delegation of political and civic leaders, election experts, and regional specialists from 20 countries in Africa, Asia, Europe, Latin America, and North America have all received accreditation from the Independent National Electoral Commission to observe the February 25 elections. The delegation is led by former President of the Republic of Malawi, Her Excellency Dr. Joyce Banda, who will be joined by Ambassador Mark Green, President and CEO of the Woodrow Wilson International Center for Scholars, Ambassador Johnny Carson, former Assistant Secretary of State for the Bureau of African Affairs at the U.S. Department of State, IRI board member Constance Berry Newman, and non-resident senior fellow at the Atlantic Council's Africa Center, board member Stacey Abrams, American political leader, lawyer and voting rights activist, and IRI board member Dana White, foreign policy and communications advisor. IRI and NDI have deployed international election observation missions to every general election in Nigeria since its 1999 transition from military to civilian democratic rule, and will be joined by Dr. Daniel Twinning and Ambassador Derek Mitchell, IRI president. Now, Minister of Works and Housing Babatunde Raji Fashola says the report card of the All Progressives Congress-led administration is self-evident, in line with the promise made in 2015 and 2019. This was at a strategic pre-election engagement with some members of the FCT Yoruba community for Tinubu in Abuja. Salihu Gwanara reports.
The presidential ambition of Bola Ahmed Tinubu is still enjoying support from various groups, including members of the Yoruba community within and around the Federal Capital Territory.
I also showed them the report card of the APC government in Abuja, interventions in road infrastructure development generally.
The Yoruba vote is very important, and we have a Yoruba candidate, and it was important for us to show our strength.
It's a mandate for all Nigerians, above your tribe, above your party representation.
Meanwhile, all progressive youth stakeholders from the 19 northern states said Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Kashim Shettima remain their preferred presidential and vice presidential candidates.
We want to assure Nigerians that we remain a formidable force and an important element of 2020 general elections. We will desist from politics of ethnicity, religion, and we will place capacity and credibility over all.
The groups are assured of steady commitment in Abuja. Saliu Gwanara, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Atiku Abubakar, has described his campaign tour across the country as successful. This was while speaking to newsmen at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport on his return to Abuja after the PDP campaign grand finale in his home state. Adama Onoti Yakubu has the details.
Former Vice President Atiku Abubakar arrived local wing of the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, to the chair of FCT party supporters upon conclusion of nationwide campaigns. Atiku Abubakar told newsmen that messages of his proposed rescue and recovery mission of Nigeria got to supporters through issue-based campaign, and expressed confidence that voters will give him the mandate to build bridges of unity and promote economic prosperity.
I think the PDP has conducted a decent campaign and campaigns on issues.
The campaign council was received in the FCT by Senator Philip Aduda and National Party stalwarts.
We've gone through the nooks and crannies of this country, campaigning, reaching out to the electorate to ensure that we can vote for the PDP.
Our women can see, our young lads in the schools can see. Rice man can see. I can feel Atiku presidency.
It is a party that have ruled in this country for over 16 years, and some of the dividends are still fresh in the people's memory.
In Abuja, Onotu Yakubu, NTA News.
The Director General Obidati Presidential Campaign Organization, Akin Osuntokun, has charged Nigerians not to allow themselves to be used by politicians to cause crisis in the country in the guise of fighting for public interest. This was saying although the recent Naira redesign policy has led to difficulties in the country, politicians who are dissatisfied with the President's pronouncement on the issue should follow constitutional means to express themselves.
We urge the Nigerian public to shine their eyes very, very well and not allow themselves to be used as cannon fodders by duplicitous politicians.
The Director General also expresses dismay at violent attacks going on in the southeastern region.
It's a very bad signal, and it's just working towards what you would call voter suppression, intimidation, actual violence, actual and threats of violence. All these are tactics of voter suppression.
The presidential candidate of the New Nigeria People's Party, NNPP, Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso, has appealed to the Nigerian electorate to come out en masse and vote for the party's victory in the forthcoming elections so as to have a new Nigeria which everyone will be proud of. This was when he visited Taraba, Benue and Kogi states as part of an interface with traditional rulers. Muhammad Ali reports.
This is Mutumbio, a densely populated area in Taraba State, where supporters welcome the presidential candidate Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso. The first meeting of NNPP candidate with royal fathers was at the palace of Emir of Muri, Abbas Tafida, where he solicited his support and assured him of improved infrastructure, especially electricity supply in the state. At the palace of His Royal Majesty John Odobo Obagaji, Ochi Doma, and that of Sarkin Hausawa Alhaji Dahiru Mahmuda in Otubo, Benue State, Kwankwaso stressed the importance of peace in the area, promising to increase the number of security personnel in the country. In Kogi State, the presidential candidate visited the Ono Ampa, Abdul Malik Umar, and His Royal Majesty Matthew Obalua Oguche II, the Ata of Igala, where he gave assurance of free education for every child if elected. An impromptu rally was conducted where Kwankwaso thanked the people of Ampa for the warm reception accorded him. Muhammad Ali, NTA News.
The presidential candidate of Zenith Labour Party, Dan Wanyawu, has called on Nigerians to conduct themselves peacefully during and after the general elections. This was in Lafia when he visited Governor Abdullahi Sule. Aliu Tijani reports.
The presidential candidate of Zenith Labour Party is in Lafia to meet party stakeholders ahead of the general elections. While in Lafia, he meets Governor Abdullahi Sule, where he acknowledges his leadership style in the state, which has transformed the state through infrastructural interventions.
One of the governors that allow open space for other political parties.
You are one person I have so much respect for, and I strongly believe that you believe in Nigeria.
On the 2023 elections, the presidential candidate of Zenith Labour Party says politicians must emphasize on the unity of the nation and should not take the election as do or die. He urges electorates to vote candidates of their choice and should shun thuggery and any form of violence.
Don't stay at home. Go and vote. INEC assured us that they are ready. The political parties are ready. Let the others, like the security, do their work.
In Lafia, Aliu Tijani, NTA News.
The APC governorship candidate in Adamawa State, Senator Aishatu Dahiru Ahmed Binani, has donated more than 70 vehicles to various organizations in the state to address the transportation needs. Nafisatu Abdulhamid Dembos reports.
Faith-based organizations, Nigerian Union of Journalists, Joint Association of Persons Living with Disabilities, National Union of Transport Workers, among other organizations, were the beneficiaries. The beneficiaries described the donation of the vehicles as a great opportunity to their primary responsibilities. The organizations promise judicious use of the vehicles.
For persons with disability in Adamawa, every day, every time we are praying for her. May Allah continue to guide her, to give her anything that she wants in this world.
And I pray that her desires should be fulfilled.
The senator said the vehicles were only meant for their official purposes, but not in whatever way to engage them on her campaign.
All beneficiaries are shortlisted after a careful study of their contribution in our society and our genuine belief that supporting you all means touching the lives of our people at the grassroots.
In Yola, Nafisatu Abdulhamid Dembos, NTA News.
It's now time to join Musa for a breakdown of happenings in the financial world.
Thank you. Let's begin with public spending. Raising sufficient tax revenues, investment in infrastructure, and prioritizing areas that have direct bearing on their citizens are said to be areas countries can take advantage to improve the quality of public spending. That's where the submissions of panelists at the World Economic Forum in Davos.
And particularly so for emerging and developing economies, there is a lot that they can gain in terms of fiscal space if they are able to do more in terms of the quality of the spending that they have, but also in terms of raising sufficient tax revenue. I think on both counts, there is a lot that can be done. What we have seen is the use of a digital public infrastructure has actually been very helpful in this matter. When we look at countries who've actually been able to target their spending much better, being able to, having digital identity, using digital infrastructures to be able to make cash transfers.
And now to equities. It's a positive start for the Nigerian equities market as investors gain 228.7 billion naira. The all-share index advanced by 0.78% to close at 54,224.35 basis points. A total turnover of 154.63 million units of securities worth 5.51 billion naira in 3,095 deals were recorded today. Equity capitalization increased to 29.5 trillion naira. The financial services industry led the activity chart. And that's a quick look at business. The news continues after the break. Do stay.
50% discount off in the Airtel Home Broadband Season of Love offer. Buy a router for just 10,000 naira and get up to 240 gigabyte or a MiFi for 5,000 naira and get up to 125 gigabyte bonus data. More data, more you. Reliable home broadband by
Airtel, the smartphone network.
Great people of our land, at the dawn of light, did you know that while our gallant men were fighting off bandits and insurgents, we were also laying a solid foundation for the infrastructure revolution to spark the growth of our economy? Did you know that the revolution stops not with infrastructure? Now we reap harvests of progress in agriculture with more than 4 million farmers anchored to the Anchor Borrower Scheme for 23 diverse cultivations, with fertilizer revolution, rice revolution, export revolution, as we now grow what we eat and eat what we grow. Now, as we stand at this dawn of light, let us move forward with renewed hope. Let's elect Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Senator Kashim Shettima as President and Vice President to birth the greater Nigeria of our collective dreams.
This message is brought to you by the National Working Committee of the APC.
APC Progress!
When you think of fruit juice and all the goodness that comes in it, think Chivita, specially made for you. There's more to choose from. Whatever your preferences are, there is a Chivita for you.
Oh,
Yes. Check out our new Chivita Smart Malt Drink. So, what's your Chivita?
Be
inspired with inspirational quotes and win in the Top Tea Taste to Know Inspiration 2.0 promo. Enjoy inspirational quotes and get a chance to win free airtime or 10,000 Naira cash prize. Simply buy a pack of Top Tea, collect inspirational card with unique letters to spell Top Tea. Take a picture of your collection and share on Facebook or Instagram and tag at Top Tea Nigeria. Offer valid while stocks last. Terms and conditions apply. Top Tea. Taste to know.
Hey, Chidi! See your son. Okay, you don't listen every day.
On this mission?
Yes, but how?
Just one question. How do you keep your toilet clean?
I use regular detergent and bleach for washing and removing yellow stains. I have been using it for years.
Madam, the regular detergents and bleach are used for washing clothes. To disinfect your toilet, you need Harpic 10X. It is specially made for germs and stains removal. Harpic sticker formula settles on stains and gives 10 times better cleaning.
Wow! Now I'm convinced, Helen Paul.
Really? Yeah. The next house is yours.
Lift her to eternal rest, the angel called Mama, aka Iyarere, born December 12, 1935, and slept in the Lord on January 16, 2023, at 87 years. The family of late Adanibo of Owo, Chief Adebayo Adene, announced the departure to eternal glory of her mother, grandmother, great-grandmother, sister, aunt, and cousin, Olabisi Agbeke Adene, aka Iyarere, on January 16, 2023, in the United States of America. A deep sense of loss we feel, but great gratitude we give to God Almighty for a magnificent, gentle soul, Iyarere, a life well lived. Your love and relentless service to church and God was who you were. She was an agent of love, gentle giver of comfort amongst all the superb, adorable hearts she wore. Mama, you will be immensely missed. Olabisi Agbeke Adene, Omo Ego Mefa, Okansekeje, Omoliwo, Sunreo, funeral arrangement to follow soon. Adieu, Iyarere. Announcer, the Adene family.
And on that note, we conclude the network news on NTA. Thanks for watching.